Oi, oi, alright, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you, and this is Doodle Review. Right now on the channel, we're kind of working our way through several releases we didn't get to review back in 2023, but to mix it up a bit today, I thought we'd collate several of the reviews we've put out over the years on everyone's favourite power pop rock band, Weezer. Day to day, we're a channel that reviews albums from across the genre spectrum of music, but with a foundation very much based in rock and guitar music. We pretty much review something in the world of rock every other day, so if that's your vibe, subscribe. You'll almost certainly hear me talk about a band you like in an upcoming video and hopefully get turned on to something new as well. Alright, let's talk Weezer. We're going to cover a few records today. We're going to talk about Van Weezer, OK Human, Pinkerton and Blue. Let's get it. Alright, so Van Weezer was Rivers Cuomo and the boys' supposed fan letter to metal, but before anyone can get too excited, we're definitely talking about Jump era Van Halen, not Rain in Blood. All that though really is just window dressing of a few taps and chugs here and there and a weird crazy train interpolation. It's window dressing on what we actually have here, which is a collection of pop songs that to my ears could soundtrack a Disney musical. I can see it now. Two misfit metal fiend high schoolers fall for each other against all odds. Okay, maybe aside from the track One More Hit, which sounds just as musical ready but is probably about heroin, so props not aligned to the kind of House of Mouse. But the pop songwriting is kind of flawless, but it's just so Disney, so cheesy that I'm just never going to go back to it. It's really not for me. But honestly, if you have kids under 7, check it out. They'll probably love it. This is a low 3, and most of that score is based on I Need Some of That, which is undeniably kind of a bop. Okay, let's talk about OK Human. So when this first came out, I actually had no idea that this was Weezer doing a piano-driven orchestral chamber pop album, and what a great surprise it was. The first 5 songs fit together seamlessly and represent some of the best aspects of Rivers Cuomo's writing. I do think after the song Playing My Piano or At a Push screens, the song quality kind of drops off and reverts to cookie cutter tracks that even the string-led arrangements can't really lift up. But tracks like All My Favourite Songs and Numbers are some of the best Weezer we got in about a decade, and I found myself going back to this fairly often. I'd put this at a kind of 6.6. Okay, so now we're going back to one of their kind of landmark albums, Pinkerton. This is an album I purposely left unlistened to for a long time. As a casual Weezer fan, I knew of the mythology surrounding Pinkerton and its unusual place in the band's discography and wanted to keep that curiosity for a rainy day. Well, that day came and it was every bit as interesting as I thought. This is a second album from a band that seem angry at the success of their first. Weezer kind of do all they can to act the tough guy on Pinkerton. The polish and politeness of Blue is out, and here we have lo-fi recordings, anger, and a hell of a lot of questionable thirsting. The thing is, despite their efforts, Weezer's charm still shines through, not least in the hooks, but also in the way that like Rivers' anger is less threatening and more like a 3-year-old having a tantrum. You nod in solidarity while kind of like stifling a smile. All in all, it's great. The myth, I think, is possibly bigger than the actual music, but it's pretty awesome. This would be about an 8.5 for me. Alright, now we're going to the big one. Their debut, the Blue album. The self-titled first Weezer record, unofficially named the Blue Album, is beloved by fans of the band and even revered by those that wouldn't consider themselves diehards of the Rivers Cuomo fronted power pop heroes. This was an album I absolutely loved growing up, and still most of that holds true today. The songwriting is just so crisp and instantly grabs you. I got chills the very first time I put in the CD and heard My Name is Jonas, and it remains a banger of epic proportions. The mixing of In the Garage does a perfect job of burying the clean acoustics under layers of grimy distortion in the verse, and that's a template that I've kind of gone back to and badly attempted to record music myself. Track for track, it's almost perfect, almost because in my more chaotic moments I do consider Holiday a bit of a skipper. After the bridge, it's just a bit repetitive and annoying. I've spent quite a bit of the years going back and forward on whether you could say Blue is overrated. I think that question could be answered by just how influential you think this album would be on bands that would come after. While the band's brand of bombastic riffs meets awkward shy boy misfit sensibility was unique at the time, stood next to the rage of grunge and the excess of the albeit declining glam scene, I think I'd argue that the burgeoning emo genre of the 90s and the sensitivity of songwriters like Elliott Smith probably did more to influence the bands that we could be inclined to trace back to the Blue record. This is almost proven by the fact that Weezer themselves would go on to lean into that aesthetic with their follow-up on Pinkerton. So is it a classic? Yes, definitely. Does it get maybe a little too much credit in terms of its influence? Maybe. Either way though, long and short story, this album is all bangers except for Holidays, and sits mightily for me at a 9.5 out of 10. Cheers for sticking around and listening to me chat fraff about these Weezer records. What you've just heard is a kind of a compilation of reviews that I've previously released on Instagram over the years, which is why they're a little short in comparison to normal. But if you guys love Weezer content, let me know and I'll be happy to do a deep dive on a particular album in the future. Let me know. I do assume if you made it this far, you must love these reviews, so don't be coy, don't be cute. What are you doing? Stop messing about. Subscribe. We've got a bunch of album reviews coming your way, Saturday specials and Sunday Jazz Club every week. Subscribe, show some love, share some thoughts, or just hold some abuse in the comments. Check out the description below for other videos you might be interested in, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, mate. Bye.